Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, building experiences that connect, remove friction, and deliver insights. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Dez Rock. Dez has been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, mentoring others on career and negotiation skills. She has now focused on her own business, dropping out of law school to start SIEMonster several years ago. Dez's greatest strength has always seen the big picture. A startup requires a person who can always fight on all fronts without losing perspective and making things personal. This is where she excels. Dez's mind works at a fast pace. With her ability to see solutions and paths like puzzle pieces, she has managed to take on a great idea to market and get it to grow. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Dez Rock.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So first off, Dez, why do you do what you do?
I think that the short answer would be is because I'm driven to, and then maybe the philosophical answer is because I was born to do it. I think that when you spend time finding out, who you are in your 20s, and you try a lot of things, and that looks chaotic to everybody else, and then finally that you realize that actually finding solutions to problems that you see is my key strength, hence being an entrepreneur, and that this is my perfect fit. I think this is it. Yeah.
And on your bio, you talk a little bit about cybersecurity. And why do you think that cybersecurity needs to be more financially accessible?
I think cybersecurity has always been a knee-jerk reaction and an afterthought in general organizations. For starters, let's start there. But because we don't think of that. When we're starting an organization, we don't think, let's secure it down until we are, until we're hacked, until we're a victim of ransomware. So that also means that there is not enough knowledge about the industry. And with that also comes down to the way our competitors price as well. And they do that by ingestion rates. So they just basically charge you to analyze and monitor every single byte of your own data, which means that you're now having to pick and choose which endpoints, what you're going to monitor, right? So then that dilutes how you would consider yourself secure. So when I say, cybersecurity should be more, financially accessible, what I'm trying to say is we need to remove barriers in order to make companies and organizations completely secure, because unless you've got a complete and tight circle around your organization, you cannot claim to be secure.
So talk a little bit more about that. Why is the current model the one about transactional and yours is more holistic in approach?
Because they can, I think, is the answer. That's why I touched on the fact that not enough is known about cybersecurity. The people making the decisions, the decision makers, are often bamboozled when, speaking to vendors about what the product can and can't do because they don't know. So that's one. And like I said, because they can. And why not? Nobody wants to leave money on the table. But when we entered, remember, you may not know, but I started off being red team. So we were professional pen testers and hackers before we became cybersecurity solution providers. So for us, we knew exactly how to get into a company. And we knew that if you secured only certain endpoints and not others, well, that's exactly how we used to get in, right? So then we realized that companies, in order to, large corporations, in order to, continue on with their profits, they charge the way that it's kind of like it's a known thing. Everyone does it, so everyone keeps doing it, right? So here I come along trying to democratize security by making it accessible and saying, I'm just going to remove that. I'm actually going to make it so anyone can actually access security and encompass their whole entire organization.
Talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of centralization around security, because I think what I think a lot of people don't understand is that, yes, centralization provides a lot of benefits, like using, say, Google or something, but it's also a huge flaw if somebody can get into Google, right? So there's this balance between I want to be able to use something that's centralized and monitored by professionals and local control. Well, there's pluses and minuses to each of those, right?
So to us, it wouldn't matter what you use, whether you're using cloud, on-prem, Azure, Google, AWS. That all is not the point. You're welcome to keep using whatever you're using. It is about putting a circle around every single thing that you do right? And so making sure that each one of those services that you're utilizing has you have the ability to monitor that, to actually check on that, and that monitoring is all set. That's what's centralized into the one SIEM, and that's obviously what we're doing, right? So we have a SIEM. So SIEM standing for Security Incident Event Management Software, right? So that's what that is. We started off thinking it was what held your pants up, so I thought I'd clarify. Yeah.
So I got another question for you that I have is, I mean, the internet was built without security in mind, and security was really a bolt-on to it.
Yes.
Is there an internet, I don't know what we're up to, 2.0 or 3.0, where security becomes a foundational part of it, like, say, it's built on a blockchain technology?
I suppose that an analogy could be said about houses being built. Do we start building houses with security bolted on, or do we still start, how do we start engineering our houses? And so far, it's pretty much on par. We still build what we build, and then we bolt on or security. Now, traditionally, like proper networking, and I don't know if this happens, but proper networking, or if you was to start an organization from scratch, and I'm talking from scratch, not a legacy network, as you have an architect design your network, you should also run that past a security specialist as well, right? So they can actually see all the weaknesses during the design point. I'm not sure if that's what's happening. I can't speak to that. I'm not in that area at all. But so far, we still have a lot of catching up to do, and a lot of regulating as well that needs to happen in this industry.
And I think the challenge is, as perhaps, we get to higher levels of computing and it becomes maybe easier and easier to break these passwords, the advent of AI, all of these things are converging at one point, aren't they? So,
well, the thing is, though, where you're combating the human mind and the ability to outthink, when we design, again, it comes down to the way we design things. When we design things, we do not look for how can this be hacked. And you're thinking of computers and cybersecurity. This could be anything. This could be, for example, let me give you like credit scores, right? If you wanted to build up a credit score, you know how to hack the system. You know exactly what you need to do, right? Now you think of it like that. When they were building that system, they didn't sit there and think, well, how are people going to overcome this? So my point is that there will always be people to outthink and, think outside of the box and work out how that they can get around whatever you put in there.
And we have an exit question, Des, that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
I thought long and hard about this one. I don't have one particular person because I take inspiration from everybody, because the qualities I see around me is often very inspiring. And so it can often be very much everyday people.
And lastly, Des, how can somebody contact you?
Through LinkedIn. Yeah.
All right.
Dez Rock.
Dez Rock, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.